Yeah, let's watch this joint real quick. It's called Black Genetics Explained.
What's up guys, it's Beautiful Flex, and I'm going to explain black genetics. Disclaimer, this video is not intended to offend anybody. I don't want to discriminate, I only want to educate. If you played sports before, it's likely you've heard of the term
God, why are they stomping so hard? Oh my God.
Black genetics. Black people are seen to be genetically gifted or to have a genetic advantage in powerful sports. I mean, they do seem to dominate a lot of powerful sports like sprinting, basketball, American football, and to some extent, bodybuilding. So, is it true?
I mean, yeah, to an extent, if they're dominating it, or if my people are dominating it, then there probably is a gene that allows us to have those capabilities, maybe. No? I don't know.
Black people have a genetic advantage. Well, in short, yes. For example, if you look at sprinting, the first person to break the 10-second barrier was in 1968, and that was Jim Hines, a black guy. Until 2003, only black people had broken the 10-second barrier. Now in 2003, it was the first person that wasn't of African descent that broke the 10-second barrier, and that was Patrick Johnson, an Aboriginal from Australia. Now,
wait, an Aboriginal from Australia. Oh, so those are like the native people that live in Australia. Interesting. Huh, I wonder where they're from. Do you think they're related to Native Americans in some way? Because it kind of looks like it.
Whether you view Aboriginals as black or not, that's up to you. Anyway, after 2003 until 2010, only black people were breaking the 10-second barrier. When it comes to basketball, over 70% of the NBA is black. Now, of course...
I mean, yeah. Okay. I was going to say something, but never mind.
Yes, there's a height aspect, but let's be honest. On average, black people are not the tallest people in the world. So, of course, it's more about that athletic ability, the explosive ability. Let's look at American football, which is an extremely explosive sport. Over 70% of the NFL is black. When it comes to bodybuilding, the top 2 bodybuilders in history with 8 Mr. Olympia titles are Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman, both black. Now the runners-up, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Phil Heath. Phil Heath, yet again, is another black guy. And his competitor.
That makes me question, how the hell did Arnold get his physique? That shit is just like a genetic lottery. Because like if he's a white guy and he managed to be in like a pool of a bunch of black guys that managed to get that just naturally, maybe Arnold might have that gene low-key. Is Arnold low-key black?
For a long time was Kai Green, which is yet again another
Bro, what is that haircut?
black guy. However, when it comes to bodybuilding, it is arguable. Now there's 4 main reasons and 1 factor as well. Now this factor is the genetic diversity in Africa. You see, sub-Saharan Africans are grouped as black people and part of the black race, even though Africa is the most genetically diverse continent in the world.
Yep.
There's only 1.2 billion people in Africa.
No, my boy got blue eyes, goddamn. Damn, she got some beautiful dark skin.
But they're still more genetically diverse than the 6+ billion people in the rest of the world. So of course, you're likely to find a lot of the genetic extremes in Africa. For example, the tallest people in the world are
she cute.
The Dinka people in South Sudan, which is in Africa. The shortest people in the world are...
Oh, is Bol from the Dinka people? Because that dude is tall as shit. The basketball
South
player.
Sudan, which is...
Yeah, right there, top at the right side. Bro think he Cardi with that outfit. I'm fucking around, but it's interesting.
In Africa. The shortest people in the world are the Mbutsi people in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is also in Africa. So it's no surprise then that the fastest and most muscular people are also going to be found in Africa. But understand this, just because they're all grouped as black doesn't mean they have the same DNA. For example, a man from South India does not have the same DNA as a man from Korea.
Yeah.
But they're both Asian. It doesn't mean they have the same DNA. In the same way...
Yeah, because they adapted to different environments for different situations, yeah. They're just in the same area.
Black people don't all have the same DNA, even though we're all grouped as black people. That's why it's easy to see that black people dominate sports. But in true reality, there's a lot of different DNA groups that dominate different sports. Now, as for the 4 reasons, the first reason is natural selection. If you don't know what natural selection is, maybe you didn't pay attention in biology, but basically natural selection is when the environment decides what genes survive.
Yeah. So essentially, like, if you're in an environment that needs people to be, I guess, let's say you're in a colder environment, right? You would probably develop whiter skin to adapt in that colder environment, as opposed to darker skin where you would need to absorb more sunlight. If that makes sense. Or if you have whiter skin, you need less sunlight to absorb into your body, because you barely get any sunlight to begin with, so you don't have to take too much sunlight. But when you're black, you kind of need more sunlight, so when you're in colder temperatures, it's kind of harder
For example,
to resist it, I guess.
you get two rabbits. One rabbit is fast and the other rabbit is slow. Now, if both rabbits are being chased by a wolf or a fox, the fast rabbit is more likely to survive because it's faster. So over time, the fast rabbit is probably going to live longer and be able to pass on its genes, while the slow rabbit won't be able to. So
Yeah, eventually they just evolve to be fucking fast-ass rabbits then. Because the fucking fast one always survives.
as time goes on, there will be more faster rabbits than there are slow rabbits because the environment decides. It's just science. Now in Africa, malaria has killed off so many people, especially in West Africa. And in case you don't know what malaria is,
Mosquitoes suck blood from humans and animals, mainly animals.
Yeah, that was definitely an epidemic that was going on in Africa, though.
and what they do is they suck your blood, but in the process of doing so, they inject their bacteria, which is
Fucking nasty-ass niggas, so they're spitting in our fucking blood? I hate these niggas, bro. I hate mosquitoes.
responsible for malaria. Now, this bacteria likes to infect the red blood cells and then multiply. Now, in West Africa, they have, on average, lower hemoglobin, and also they have the highest cases of sickle cell. That's sickle cell trait and sickle cell anemia. Now, low hemoglobin and sickle cell means you have a problem in your production of red blood cells, which normally is a health problem.
Damn, don't people with sickle cell tend to live half as long as people... Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even know if it's half as long, but they live shorter lives compared to people with regular blood cells. Because I have a good friend, I don't want to say his name, but he has sickle cell. And, like, I don't know, sometimes I be feeling, like, worried about him, because I'm like, he can't eat certain foods, he can't do certain shit, or else he'll react.
But in the case of malaria, it's actually an advantage because there's not enough red blood cells for the malaria to spread throughout the body. So those without those traits likely died out, whereas those with those traits have lived on and passed on their genes. See, natural selection. Now, as a result of low hemoglobin and sickle cell trait causing the low production of red blood cells, black people have less slow twitch muscle fibers. In case you don't know, slow twitch muscle fibers are oxidative. They use aerobic respiration, meaning that they use oxygen. Now, because there's a low percentage of slow twitch muscle fibers, there's a higher percentage of fast twitch muscle fibers, which don't require oxygen.
Oh, that makes sense. So if you're trying to do something like a sprint activity, you don't really need that much oxygen to really like do it. It's just boom, it's like instantaneous. It's like if you're playing a racing game and you have nitrous in your car. Like, you need a quick boost, you just press that nitrous button and boom. Like, you can just burst. You have a bunch of energy.
Now, the second reason is the power gene. That's right.
Yeah, I think this is what he's about to talk about.
Our body literally has a gene that helps us to generate power and force. Now, this gene is called ACTN3.
Yeah.
And the gene creates a protein called alpha-actinin 3. Now, this protein is what's actually responsible for the power and the force. However, ACTN3 has two versions, a good version and a bad version.
Damn, what's the bad version?
The good version is the R allele and the bad version is the X allele. Basically, if you get the R allele from your dad and another R allele from your mum, and you become the RR genotype, you'll be able to create a lot of power and force.
Yeah, that's why a lot of black people tend to do like, I guess, power sports.
If you get the R from your dad and the X from your mum, you'll still be able to produce a good amount of power. Not as good as the RR, but still a good amount of power. On the other hand, if you receive the X from your dad and the X from your mum, you will not be able to produce.
Damn, so I love how he made this like scale very like wimpy, like from strong people to strong and mid, and then weak. Oh god.
Actinin 3. Now, the XX genotype people who are XX, not RX, but just XX, completely the insufficient version of the gene, make up around 25% of the Asian population.
Damn.
Asians have the XX version, right? Which is not the good version. Now,
Damn.
when it comes to white people, it is 18% of white people. That's almost a fifth have the bad version, the XX version. However, when it comes to black people, less than 1% of black people have the bad version.
Okay, so I know damn well I don't have the bad version because one, I build muscle super easily when I go into the gym. And two, both of my parents are straight from Africa. I was literally born in Nigeria, bro. So I'm pretty sure I have maybe the RR.
The XX version. That's 3% of black Americans, 2% of Jamaicans, and in West Africa, the percentage of people with the bad version of the gene is around 1%. That means that around 99% of West Africans have the good version of the gene. And just to explain how important this gene is, with elite athletes with speed and power and strength, not a single one of those athletes don't have the good version of the gene.
That's actually insane. So, yeah, dude, playing sports is literally just eugenics, bro. Like, if you want a child that goes into the NBA, the NFL, or any sport league, you gotta screen for genetics, bro.
That stops your muscles from getting too big. It's not an ally. In fact, it's an enemy of building muscle. Now, sub-Saharan Africans have a higher percentage of myostatin mutations. This means that they're not as limited when it comes to building muscle. Now, the fourth reason is androgen receptors. Without androgen receptors, your muscles won't grow, right? They're literally the limit of growing muscles. Now, black people have a higher androgen receptor sensitivity. This is also why
So it basically just helps us grow muscles faster. That's interesting.
black people are at higher risk of prostate cancer.
Damn.
Because of their androgen receptor sensitivity. So it's not so good when it comes to prostate cancer, but when it comes to muscle, it seems to be an advantage.
Yeah, so they're basically just saying we have too much testosterone. It's like, nah.
That's it. I hope you learned something and I hope you're well informed. Remember, these genetics are not exclusive to West Africans. However, there's a higher concentration of people who have these genetics that are West Africans and their descendants. But there are plenty of people that aren't West African or West African descendants or African descendants, full stop, that have been able to make amazing fitness feats. I mean,
Honestly, I respect those people too, because for them not to have the gene, yet they could still, be in situations where they could beat records and compete against those with the gene. Yeah, it does give you like another level of respect for them, because it's like, damn, you don't have the cheat code, yet you can still do this. That's good.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the
You said we're not Krillins after all. Yeah, we're not.
faces of bodybuilding, is a white guy. Same with Christophe Lemaitre, who was the first white man to break the 10-second barrier. Su Bingtian, a Chinese sprinter. Apologies if I pronounced the name wrong, but he was the first Asian-born sprinter to break the 10-second barrier.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
So, yes, there's a
So
high
like Ronaldo?
concentration of
Yeah.
West African descendants with these genetics, but there are, of course, other people who have these good genetics. Now, whether or not you have these genetics, whether or not you're a West African or whether or not you're an Asian with these genetics or so forth, it doesn't matter. With hard work, consistency, and patience, you can see amazing results.
Yeah, of course. I think anybody should go to the gym regardless. Am I bleeding? What the fuck? I literally just scratched my face and I just bled. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I think I itched myself too hard. But, yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't matter what the fuck your genetics are. It's always still good to go to the gym. At least try to be in your best physical form you can possibly be, regardless of whatever your limits are.
Even if you have, quote, bad genetics. Just stick to a good workout program, make sure you have good nutrition, and prioritize sleep. So push yourself to become the best version of you. Only you can be the best version of you. Don't be
Hey, you want to know what the crazy thing is? That's the motto for my brand, ABRANT. Cop at ABRANT.co. I'm actually wearing, hold on. I'm wearing the ABRANT racing shirt. I think it's only like $27 or $30. I don't know, something like that. But there's only one more available. So if you guys want to support me and the message, be your best self, ABRANT.co, go ahead and check it out. Right there, available at ABRANT.com. Anyways, I should probably put the fucking motto down there. All right, back to the video. Let me shut my ass up.
The best version of the black people, Asians, white people. No, be the best version of you.
Plug. Yes,
if you
sir.
like this video, check out the video below.
All right, that's the end of the video. That's cool though. I really like this video, and I be sharing this to like my friends. I want to get into bodybuilding and stuff, because it really does help out. Like, at least figure out where they stand before they start diving too deep into that shit.